Hey everybody, Josh here. Today we're going to be comparing three of the most popular active noise canceling earbuds on the market. We have the new Sony WF-1000 XM5s, the outgoing XM4s, and the Apple Airpods Pro 2nd generation. So whether it's your first pair of premium ANC earbuds or you're trying to figure out whether you should upgrade from the AirPods or the XM4s, hopefully this video will help you out. Let's get into it. Both of the Sonys use a recycled matte plastic, while the AirPods use a shiny polished plastic. For charging, the Sonys use USB-C, while the AirPods use Lightning, and on all cases, we have support for wireless charging. In addition, the AirPods Pro 2's case does have some extra functionality, like MagSafe charging, built-in speakers for finding your case, and precision tracking, which is only available on iPhones with the Find My app. On the Sony cases, you won't get any of those features. However, the XM5s do have a completely redesigned case that is much smaller than the outgoing XM4's case. Now, let's talk about the buds. All of these buds are IPX4 rated, which means they'll be fine if you get the occasional sweat or rain on them. These buds also support autoplay pause for when you take them out or put them into your ears. In terms of bud design, Sony has really stepped it up this year with the XM5s. The XM4s were unfortunately enormous, and personally, I couldn't use these for an extended amount of time just because of how uncomfortable they were in my ears. But now with the XM5's redesigned earbuds now being a lot smaller, I'm able to have these in for 3, 4, even 5 hours at a time with no problems at all. The XM5s also come with extra small ear tips, meaning that they're gonna be good for people with smaller ears. The AirPods, on the other hand, have always been a pretty good design in my opinion. They're gonna fit most ears and are also gonna be very comfortable as well. Now, one big difference between the Sonys and the AirPods is their choice of material for the ear tips. The Sonys use foam tips while the AirPods use silicone tips. The two benefits of foam tips are that one, they're able to create a better seal in your ears, meaning that you'll get a little bit better passive noise isolation. And number two, they also create a better and more secure fit, meaning that they're less likely to fall out of your ears. On the flip side though, foam tips can be a little bit less durable, so depending on how often you subject these to humidity and sweat, you may need to consider replacing these down the line. But I'd say for most people, foam tips are gonna be a non-issue. Now, the one thing that I really dislike on the XM5s is the change to a glossy plastic on the sides of the earbud. Previously on the XM4s, we had an all matte finish, which means that they were really easy to pick up and maneuver around. But with the XM5s, with all the finger oils and ear oils that are gonna be in contact with the bud, these are gonna be really slippery, and I've had trouble taking them out of the case, as well as readjusting them in my ears. And even one time, I went to take out my buds and they just flung across the room because of how slippery they were. The AirPods, despite these being glossy as well, do have a stem, which allow you to grab the earbuds firmly. For multimedia controls, both the XM5s and the XM4s use a tapping motion, while the AirPods use a squeezing motion. On top of that, both of the Sonys also use non-mirrored controls, meaning that you won't get the same controls on both your left and right earbuds. Instead, in the Sony app, you'll have to assign one bud to playback controls and the other bud to ambient sound control. And each of these shortcuts are also not individually customizable, which is a letdown. Now, on the XM5s, we do get a brand new shortcut to enable volume control, which is a continuous tap on either earbud for volume up and down. Not a great solution, as it does again create unwanted noise, and just tapping your ears multiple times is not pleasant. Now, in contrast, the AirPods Pro 2s do have the best multimedia controls out of any earbud in my opinion. Not only are the controls mirrored, you also get volume control with just a simple swipe gesture on either earbud. Now, the one advantage to Sony's non-mirrored controls is that you get more shortcuts. And these additional shortcuts are how you access some of the Sony exclusive features like Quick Attention and Spotify Tap, where if you double tap on the assigned earbud, it will automatically start playing something on your Spotify account, a feature that I actually really enjoy a lot. But yeah, overall, I do think that Sony should give users the ability to have mirrored controls on each earbud. This can pretty easily be achieved via a software update, and Sony, if you're listening, that would make these buds a lot better. Now, let's talk about connectivity. With the AirPods 2, as soon as you connect these to one of your iCloud devices, all of your other iCloud devices will be connected as well. Once you're paired, you can take advantage of seamless switching, which works very well. On both of the Sonys, you also get dual connectivity, which allows you to connect to two devices at the same time. This works pretty pretty well and the switching is quite responsive. However, the consistency isn't quite there yet. There's just been a couple of moments where these buds didn't want to switch from my MacBook to my iPhone, so I'd have to disconnect them from my MacBook, which was a bit of an annoyance. So in terms of multi-point connect, I'd say your mileage may vary. Overall though, I'd say you can definitely daily drive all three of these earbuds. Now, sound quality is one of the most important aspects to any ANC earbud, and the first question I want to address is, how do the XM5s compare to the XM4s? In my personal testing, despite the XM5s having slightly larger drivers than the XM4s, these two buds actually sounded quite similar, and there wasn't a huge difference between the two, if any. Personally, I think the Sonys are one of the best sounding earbuds on the market right now. The sound is full, the vocals are balanced, and the music feels punchy and dynamic with good clarity and smoothness. The bass doesn't distort or sound muddy and is one of the best parts about these earbuds. On top of that, Sony allows you to customize your own EQ, so if you're somebody who doesn't like a lot of bass, you can easily reduce it. There's also a really helpful feature called Find Your EQ. This feature allows you to listen to your own music while the app gives you several EQ profiles to choose from. After selecting an option, it'll continue narrowing it down until you find your perfect EQ, which then gets saved as a preset that you can tweak even further later. This feature is available on both the XM5s and the XM4s, which takes a lot of the stress out of EQing. Now, in comparison, the AirPods 2s also have some really good clarity, but the main two differences here are less bass and less customization. These also have really good clarity, and they're gonna be perfect for people who prefer a neutral sound signature. Everything feels nice and balanced. Now let's talk about transparency mode and active noise cancellation. Of course, we already know that the AirPods Pros have the best transparency mode. The AirPods sound really natural, and it just sounds like you don't have any earbuds in at all. However, what surprised me even more is that the XM5s and 4s are about like 70 to 80% as good as the AirPods. The transparency mode on the Sonys are also pretty good and are definitely usable, and I wouldn't say that they're bad at all. As far as ANC goes, when we're comparing bassy and mid-heavy sounds like airplanes, your HVAC system, or a fan, both the Sonys and the AirPods perform pretty similarly, basically eliminating all of those sounds immediately. It's actually super impressive, and for those who haven't tried it, it's a game changer. Now, when it comes to treble heavy sounds like the typing of your keyboard or the clicking of your mouse, the Sonys do perform a little bit better than the AirPods, partly due to their use of foam ear tips. Honestly, between all three of these buds, the difference in active noise canceling is very little. You're gonna be happy with taking any of these buds on an airplane or just using them daily. They are some of the best on the market right now, and you'll be happy with whatever you pick. So for the mic test, I'm going to talk about a new feature on the XM5s called head gestures. This is a feature where if you're getting an incoming call, you can either nod your head up and down to accept the call or shake your head side to side to reject the call. In my testing, the earbuds were actually quite sensitive to my movements, and I didn't have to exaggerate the movements to get it to recognize what I wanted it to do. Overall, the feature worked quite well, and I'd say it's not necessarily a gimmick, nor is it a groundbreaking feature. It's somewhere in between. But yeah, that's it for the mic test. Let me know how the mics sound to you. And last but not least, we got to talk about battery life. So here is a graph showing you battery life for all of these buds. Okay, so with everything considered, here are my recommendations. If you're somebody that either prefers a more neutral sound signature or want to save some cash or want to use it with more than 2 Apple devices, the AirPods Pro 2s are gonna be your pick. Not only do these retail for $50 less than the XM5s, you can also find these on sale right now for $200 on Amazon, which I'll leave a link to down below. The AirPods Pro 2s have an amazing neutral sound signature, and if you wanna use these with your iPhone and MacBook, but also like your Apple Watch, iPad, and Apple TV, the AirPods Pro 2s are the only earbuds that can do that. However, for those looking for the best sound quality, even more bass, and even more customization, the Sonys are gonna be your best bet. In my opinion, these Sonys just have a much more dynamic sound and are just a little more fun to listen to. They also have slightly better ANC and a customizable EQ, allowing you to customize the sound to your own liking. And even if you're in the Apple ecosystem like myself, I only switch between 2 devices, so the dual connection is more than sufficient. The 2 main cons of the Sonys I'd say are the multimedia controls and the price. I'm just not that big of a fan of the taps, and then the $300 price tag is a bit steep. Now, if you you already own the XM4s, I personally wouldn't consider upgrading to the XM5s because they have very similar performance in terms of sound quality and ANC. But yeah, that about does it for this comparison video. If you found it helpful, share with a friend or consider subscribing if you're not already. I'd really appreciate it. Also consider using my affiliate link down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.